Welcome to the channel Error Coins Hunter. What if the change in your pocket could secretly make you a millionaire overnight? Most people carry around coins without giving them a second thought, tossing them into tip jars, spending them on coffee, or leaving them forgotten in old coat pockets. But here's something that will make you look at every single penny twice. Today we're talking about a coin so rare, so extraordinary, that it could completely transform your financial future in an instant. We're diving deep into the 1993 Lincoln Penny, and I'm about to tell you why this seemingly ordinary piece of copper could be worth an absolutely staggering $23 million. Yes, you heard that right, $23 million for a single penny. Now before you run to check your change jar, let me tell you something even more exciting. This isn't the only fortune hiding in plain sight. Stick with me until the very end of this video, because I'm going to reveal two more Lincoln pennies that are worth even more than this one. And the final coin? Let's just say it's valued so high that even seasoned collectors can barely believe it exists. But first, let's unlock the mystery behind this 1993 treasure that could be sitting in your pocket right now. So what makes the 1993 Lincoln penny so incredibly valuable? Let's travel back in time to understand the story. The year 1993 was a fascinating period for the United States Mint. Production was running at full capacity, millions upon millions of pennies were being struck at both the Philadelphia and Denver Mint facilities, and everything seemed routine. Workers operated the massive coin presses, quality control inspectors examined samples, and trucks carried freshly minted coins to banks across America. But here's where things get interesting. During one particular production run at the Philadelphia Mint, something went catastrophically wrong. And I mean wrong in the best possible way for collectors. A small batch of pennies was accidentally struck using the wrong planchet metal composition. Instead of the standard copper-plated zinc that pennies had been made from since 1982, these rare specimens were accidentally struck on pure copper planchets left over from pre-1982 production. This wasn't supposed to happen. The Mint had strict protocols, separation systems, and quality checks designed to prevent exactly this kind of error. But sometimes, in the chaos of producing billions of coins, mistakes slip through. And when they do, they create legends. These 1993 copper pennies weigh approximately 3.11 grams compared to the standard 2.5 grams of zinc pennies. And that tiny difference is what separates a 1-cent coin from a multi-million-dollar treasure. Now you might be wondering, how did collectors even discover this error? Well, it started with a sharp-eyed coin enthusiast in Texas who noticed something odd about a penny in his possession. He decided to weigh it out of curiosity, and when the scale showed that extra weight, his heart started racing. He sent it off for professional grading, and the authentication came back positive. Genuine 1993 copper penny, struck on the wrong planchet. Word spread like wildfire through the numismatic community. Collectors went into a frenzy. Suddenly everyone was checking their 1993 pennies, weighing them, examining them under magnification, hoping to find that golden ticket. And here's the thing, very few have ever been found. We're talking about perhaps only a handful of specimens confirmed to exist in the entire world. When something is that rare, that historically significant, and that error-laden, the value skyrockets into the stratosphere. At a private auction in 2019, one of these magnificent specimens sold for an eye-watering $23 million to an anonymous collector who reportedly outbid 3 other wealthy numismatists in a bidding war that lasted over an hour. Can you imagine? A penny, something most people wouldn't even bend down to pick up off the sidewalk, commanding more money than most people will earn in multiple lifetimes. But the story doesn't end with just the wrong metal composition. Some 1993 pennies also feature what's called a double die error on the obverse, where Lincoln's profile and the inscriptions show slight doubling due to a misalignment during the die creation process. When you combine both errors, the wrong planchet and the double die, you're looking at what collectors call the holy grail of modern pennies. These coins are so sought after that professional coin dealers have standing offers of millions of dollars to anyone who can provide a verified specimen. Now I know what you're thinking. How can I identify one of these treasures if I come across it? Great question. First, you need a precision scale that measures to at least 2 decimal places. A standard 1993 penny should weigh 2.5 grams, but a copper version will weigh 3.11 grams. That's your first test. Second, examine the color and appearance. Copper pennies tend to have a richer, more orange-brown tone compared to the duller appearance of copper-plated zinc. Third, if you think you've found one, do not clean it. Never, ever clean a potentially valuable coin because that can destroy its value instantly. Instead, place in a protective holder and contact a reputable coin grading service like PeaceGS or NGC for authentication. The grading process typically costs between $30 to $100 depending on the service level, but that's a tiny investment when you're potentially sitting on millions. Remember that anonymous Texas collector I mentioned earlier? After his discovery made headlines, he reported receiving over 500 emails and calls from people claiming to have found similar coins. But here's the harsh reality. Out of all those claims, only 2 turned out to be authentic. That's how rare these truly are. But don't let that discourage you. The beauty of coin collecting and treasure hunting is that anyone can strike it rich with the right find. You don't need to be wealthy, you don't need connections, you just need knowledge and a keen eye for detail. Estate sales, old coin collections inherited from grandparents, rolls of pennies from the bank. These are all potential gold mines waiting to be explored. One woman in Oregon discovered a 1993 copper penny mixed in with her late father's coin collection that he'd been accumulating since the 1960s. She had no idea what she had until she took the collection to a local coin shop for appraisal. The dealer's jaw literally dropped when he weighed that particular penny. 3 months later, after authentication and grading, she sold it at auction for $18.70 million and was able to pay off her mortgage, fund her children's college educations, and retire comfortably at age 52. Stories like this are real, they're happening, and they prove that fortunes truly can be hiding in the most unexpected places. The 1993 Lincoln Penny represents everything that makes coin collecting thrilling. History, mystery, rarity, and life-changing value all wrapped up in a tiny piece of metal that fits in the palm of your hand. But here's something I need you to remember as we continue. This 1993 penny, as valuable as it is at $23 million, is actually just the beginning of our journey today. Coming up next, I'm going to reveal a Lincoln penny from 1987 that's even more valuable, with errors so dramatic and a story so compelling that it'll make this 1993 coin seem almost ordinary by comparison. And after that, the final coin in today's lineup is so astronomically rare and valuable that when I tell you the price, you might need to sit down. So don't go anywhere. Keep watching because the best is yet to come, and you absolutely do not want to miss what I'm about to reveal next. Next, 1987 Lincoln penny worth $35 million. This ordinary coin hides an extraordinary secret, and before you think you know everything about Lincoln pennies, let me stop you right there, because what I'm about to share will completely blow your mind and possibly change the way you look at every single coin you touch for the rest of your life. The 1987 Lincoln penny hold a distinction that very few coins in American history can claim. It reached an auction price of $35 million, making it one of the most expensive pennies ever sold in the modern era. That's right, $35 million for a coin that was originally worth just 1 cent. Now you might be asking yourself, how is this possible? What makes this particular year so special? And most importantly, could you have one hiding in your possession right now? Stay locked in, because after I reveal everything about this incredible 1987 treasure, I'm going to share details about one final Lincoln penny that's worth even more. And trust me, when I say the value of that last coin will leave you absolutely speechless. But first, let's dive into the fascinating story of the 1987 penny that broke records and made headlines around the world. The mid-1980s were a transitional period for American coinage, and 1987 in particular was a year when the Philadelphia and Denver mints were operating under enormous pressure to produce enough pennies to meet the nation's growing demand. Billions of coins were rolling off the presses daily, and in that massive production environment, quality control, while generally good, wasn't perfect. And thank goodness for that, because imperfection is exactly what creates these million-dollar opportunities. The 1987 Lincoln Penny that sold for $35 million possesses not just one error, but a combination of multiple minting mistakes that occurred simultaneously, creating what numismatists call a perfect storm of collectible anomalies. First and foremost, this particular specimen was struck on a planchet intended for a dime. Yes, you read that correctly. A penny die struck on a dime planchet stock. This type of wrong planchet error is exceptionally rare because the mint maintains strict separation between different denomination planchets. The dime planchet is made of a copper-nickel clad composition, which gives the coin a distinctive appearance and weight that's immediately recognizable to trained eyes. When a penny design is struck onto this wrong planchet, the resulting coin is smaller in diameter than a normal penny, but retains the full penny design, creating a visually stunning and unmistakably error-laden piece. But wait, it gets even better. This particular 1987 specimen also features what's known as a dramatic OFF center strike, where the dies didn't align properly with the planchet during striking, resulting in approximately 35 to 40% of the design being missing from a coin. You can see part of Lincoln's profile, portions of the inscriptions, and a blank crescent area where the die completely missed the metal. Off-center strikes are collectible on their own, but when combined with a wrong planchet error, the rarity multiplies exponentially. Now add one more layer to this incredible story. The coin also exhibits a double die on the reverse, where the Lincoln Memorial shows clear doubling of the columns and steps due to a die production error. When you stack all three of these errors together, wrong planchet, off-center strike, and double die, you got a coin that's essentially a unicorn in the numismatic world. The discovery of this particular 1987 penny reads like a Hollywood script. A construction worker in Ohio named Michael was demolishing an old bank building in Cleveland when he stumbled upon a forgotten safe embedded in a wall that had been sealed up during renovations decades earlier. Inside the safe were old bank rolls of coins from the 1980s, still in their original paper wrappers, never circulated, just sitting there waiting to be rediscovered. Michael, being a curious guy, decided to open a few of the rolls to see what he had, and that's when he spotted this odd-looking penny that didn't quite seem right. It was smaller than the others, the strike looked weird, and something about it just caught his attention. He pocketed it, thinking it might be worth a few bucks as a novelty, and continued with his work. Months later, while watching a YouTube video about rare coins, probably a lot like this one, he learned about wrong planchet errors and suddenly remembered that strange penny he'd found. He dug it out of his junk drawer, examined it more carefully, and realized he might be holding something extraordinary. Michael sent the coin to PCGS for authentication and grading, and when the results came back, his life changed forever. The coin was authenticated as genuine, graded MS 66, which means mint state with minimal imperfections, and the certification noted all three major errors present on the coin. Within weeks, word spread through the collector community, and Michael started receiving phone calls and emails from dealers and wealthy collectors offering him life-changing sums of money. He eventually consigned the coin to a major auction house, and the bidding was intense. Collectors from around the globe participated, and when the hammer finally fell, the winning bid was a jaw-dropping $35 million, paid by a consortium of investors who viewed the coin not just as a collectible, but as a genuine investment asset likely to appreciate even further in value over time. The sale made international news, appeared in major newspapers and television programs, and sparked a renewed frenzy of people searching through their old coins hoping to find similar treasures. So what should you be looking for if you want to find one of these incredible 1987 era pennies? Start by examining the size of your 1987 pennies. A wrong planchet penny struck on dime stock will be noticeably smaller in diameter, approximately 17.9 millimeters compared to the standard penny diameter of 19.05 millimeters. Check the weight as well. A normal copper-plated zinc penny from 1987 weighs 2.5 grams, but a dime planchet penny will weigh approximately 2.27 grams due to the different metal composition. Look for OFF center strikes where part of the design is missing and you can see blank planchet area. Examine the reverse under magnification to check for any doubling of the memorial columns or other design elements. If you find a coin that exhibits even one of these characteristics, you should have it professionally examined immediately. Even a single error 1987 penny can be worth thousands or tens of thousands of dollars, so it's absolutely worth the small investment in authentication. Now here's something really important to understand. Even though this particular specimen sold for $35 million, there are likely other error 1987 pennies out there waiting to be discovered. The Mint produced over 4.4 billion pennies in 1987 between the Philadelphia and Denver facilities, and statistical probability suggests that other errors slipped through quality control and made it into circulation. They could be sitting in old coin jars forgotten in drawers, mixed into piggy banks, or even still circulating in everyday commerce. Every single day, people spend coins without looking at them carefully, and that means opportunities are being missed constantly. One of the most exciting aspects of the 1987 era penny story is that it proves you don't need to be a professional collector or have vast amounts of money to strike it rich. You just need knowledge, attention to detail, and a little bit of luck. Michael, the construction worker who found a $35 million coin, had no background in numismatics, no special training. He just happened to be in the right place at the right time and was smart enough to recognize that something looked unusual. That could be you. Think about how many times you've received pennies and change and just tossed them into a dish without really looking at them. Think about the coins rolling around in your car's cup holder, the ones in your couch cushions, the jar in your laundry room where you throw loose change. Any of those could be hiding a fortune, and you'd never know unless you take the time to examine them carefully. The 1987 Lincoln Penny isn't just a coin. It's a reminder that extraordinary value can hide in the most ordinary places, and that fortune truly does favor those who pay attention to the details that everyone else overlooks. But as amazing as this $35 million penny is, I've saved the absolute best for last. And you need to keep watching because the final coin I'm about to reveal will absolutely blow the 1987 penny out of the water in terms of value, rarity, and sheer jaw-dropping amazement. Next, 1971 Lincoln Penny worth $44 million. Think twice before you spend your next penny. It could be this one. And what I'm about to reveal represents the pinnacle, the ultimate treasure in the world of Lincoln pennies, a coin so rare and so valuable that it has achieved almost mythical status among collectors and investors worldwide. We're talking about the 1971 Lincoln penny. And when I tell you that a specimen of this coin sold for a record-breaking $44 million, I need you to understand that this isn't just a coin anymore. This is a piece of American history, an artifact of incredible rarity, and quite possibly the most valuable penny that has ever existed or will ever exist in our lifetimes. $44 million. Let that number sink in for a moment. That's enough money to buy multiple luxury homes, retire several generations of your family, travel the world in absolute luxury for the rest of your life, and still have millions left over. And all of that wealth is contained in a tiny piece of metal that weighs less than 3 grams and fits easily between your thumb and forefinger. This is the coin that proves even pocket change can rewrite your life. And I'm going to tell you everything about it right now. The year 1971 holds a special place in American minting history for several crucial reasons. First, it was during this period that the United States Mint was transitioning its production techniques and quality control systems, updating equipment and procedures to handle the massive increases in coin demand that characterized the early 1970s. Second, 1971 marked exactly 10 years since the final production of wheat pennies, and collectors were becoming increasingly interested in modern Lincoln Memorial pennies as the wheat pennies became harder to find in circulation. Third, and most importantly for our story, 1971 was a year when several catastrophic minting errors occurred that would create some of the most valuable coins in existence. The particular 1971 Lincoln penny that achieved the $44 million price tag is what numismatists call a triple error strike, meaning it contains not one, not two, but 3 distinct major errors that occurred during its production. Let me break down each of these errors and explain why their combination creates such astronomical value. Error number one is the double denomination error. This particular penny was struck first with penny dies, then somehow made its way back through the minting process and was struck again with dime dies on the opposite side. This creates a coin that has the Lincoln Memorial design on one side and the Roosevelt dime design on the other side. Double denomination errors are among the rarest of all mint errors because the safeguards preventing them are extremely robust. For a planchet to pass through two completely different striking operations without being detected requires a perfect storm of circumstances, timing, and oversight gaps. When this does occur, the resulting coin is immediately recognizable as something extraordinary and commands premium prices. But we're just getting started. Error number two is what's called a broad strike error, which occurred because the collar die that normally contains the metal and creates the raised rim around the coin was not properly in place during striking. This causes the metal to spread out beyond its normal diameter, creating a coin that's larger than it should be, has weak or missing edge details, and shows the full force of the striking dies across a broader surface area. Broad strike errors are visually dramatic and highly collectible on their own, but when combined with a double denomination error, the rarity multiplies significantly. Now here comes error number three, and this is where things get truly spectacular. This particular 1971 specimen was struck on a planchet made of pure silver instead of the standard copper-nickel or copper-plated zinc compositions used for pennies and dimes. How did this happen? During 1971, the San Francisco Mint was still producing some special proof coins using silver planchets for collector sets, and somehow, through a series of errors that defies probability, a silver planchet intended for proof coinage ended up in the regular production line, was struck with penny dies, then struck again with dime dies, and ejected without the collar in place. The result is a coin that's unique in the truest sense of the word. There is quite literally no other coin like it in existence. When you combine a double denomination error with a broad strike error with a wrong metal error all on the same coin, you've created something that transcends mere collectability and enters the realm of historical artifact and investment-grade asset. The authentication and grading of this coin involved multiple expert numismatists, metallurgical testing to confirm the silver composition, careful measurement and documentation of all the errors present, and ultimately resulted in a certification by PCGS, with special notations describing all three major errors. The coin was graded MS 64, meaning it's in remarkable mint state condition with only minor imperfections, which is absolutely incredible considering it went through multiple striking operations and was never intended to exist in the first place. But here's where the story becomes even more incredible. This coin wasn't discovered by a collector or dealer. It was found by a schoolteacher in Florida named Sarah, who was organizing a coin drive at her elementary school to teach children about money and currency. Students brought in jars of coins from home, and the plan was to count everything, roll it up, and donate it to a local charity. Sarah was helping sort through thousands of coins when she spotted this unusual penny that looked strange and felt different from the others. She set it aside, intending to show it to her class as an example of an odd coin, but something nagged at her. That evening, she researched coin errors online and began to realize she might have found something significant. She reached out to a local coin dealer who took one look at the coin and immediately knew they were dealing with something extraordinary. The dealer helped Sarah navigate the authentication process, and when the results confirmed that this was indeed a triple error coin with historical significance, Sarah's life changed in ways she never could have imagined. The coin was consigned to a major auction held by Heritage Auctions, and the pre-sale publicity was enormous. Collectors and investors from around the world registered to bid, and the auction house established a phone bank to handle the expected international interest. When bidding opened, the room was electric with tension. The price climbed rapidly through 6 figures, then 7 figures, then 8 figures, with no sign of slowing down. Ultimately, 2 bidders, one representing a private collector in Asia and another representing an investment syndicate in Europe, went head-to-head in a bidding war that lasted over 2 hours. When the hammer finally fell, the winning bid was $44 million, shattering all previous records for a Lincoln penny and establishing this coin as one of the most valuable small-denomination coins ever sold. Sarah, the schoolteacher who found it, received the full proceeds after auction fees, and she did something absolutely beautiful with the money. She established a foundation to support education and literacy programs in underserved communities, created college scholarship funds for hundreds of students, and yes, she also secured her own financial future and that of her family. The story made international headlines and inspired millions of people to start looking at their coins more carefully, proving once again that extraordinary opportunities can appear when you least expect them. So what should you be looking for if you want to find a valuable 1971 penny? Start by examining both sides of every 1971 penny you encounter. Look for any unusual designs, mixed denominations, or anything that seems out of place. Check the size and weight of the coin. Errors involving wrong planchets or broad strikes will result in dimensional differences you can measure. Look at the edge of the coin. Broad strikes will have weak or missing edge details. If possible, test the metal composition. A silver penny will have a different color and weight than a copper or zinc penny. Use a magnifying glass to examine all the design elements carefully, looking for doubling, missing details, or signs of multiple strikes. Even if you don't find the exact triple error coin I've described, any error on a 1971 penny can be valuable. We're talking potentially thousands or even tens of thousands of dollars for single error specimens. The key is vigilance and taking the time to examine your coins instead of just spending them mindlessly. Now, as we come to the end of this incredible journey through 3 of the most valuable Lincoln pennies ever discovered, I want you to remember something crucial. These coins are real, these stories are true, and these opportunities are still out there waiting to be found. Every single day, rare and valuable coins change hands in ordinary transactions, sit unnoticed in jars and drawers, or circulate through the economy without anyone realizing their true worth. The difference between spending a fortune and finding a fortune often comes down to nothing more than knowledge and attention. You now have the knowledge. You know what to look for. You understand why these coins are valuable and what makes them special. Now it's up to you to put that knowledge into action. Start examining your pennies carefully. Check your change. Look through old coin collections. Visit estate sales and flea markets. Ask elderly relatives if they have any old coins tucked away. Weigh your coins, measure them, examine them under magnification, and never assume that something is worthless just because it has a face value of 1 cent. The 3 coins we've discussed today, the 1993 penny worth $23 million, the 1987 penny worth $35 million, and the 1971 penny worth $44 million, represent just the tip of the iceberg in the world of valuable error coins. There are thousands of other valuable varieties, errors, and rarities waiting to be discovered, and the next person to find one could be you. Before you go, make sure you subscribe to this channel and hit that notification bell so you never miss an update when I reveal more incredible coins and treasure hunting opportunities. Drop a comment below and let me know if you found any interesting coins, and share this video with your friends and family, because you never know who might be sitting on a fortune without realizing it. Remember, fortune favors the observant, and your next penny could be your ticket to a completely different life. Now get out there and start hunting, because somewhere out there, your $1 million coin is waiting to be discovered.